Samira Abbassy was born in Azwaz, Iran, and moved to London as a child. After graduating from Canterbury College of Arts, she began showing in London. In 1988, she moved to New York City to help establish and found the Elizabeth Foundation for the Arts Studio program, where she currently has a studio and is a lifetime board member. Her New York solo show in 2007 was reviewed by Benjamin Genaccio in the New York Times and by Aurelia Budak in Newsday. In September, October 2012, Nisa Kwasi interviewed Abbassy for the Financial Times Lifestyle section. Her work is shown internationally and has been acquired by the Metropolitan Museum, the British Government Art Collection, the British Museum, the Berger Collection, the Donald Rubin Collection, Rubin Museum, New York, the Farjam Collection, Dubai, the Devi Foundation, India, and the Ahmed Foundation, Iran. Her awards include a Yaddo Residency Fellowship in 2006, a New York Foundation of the Arts in 2007, and a Joan Mitchell Painting Sculpture Award in 2010. In April 2012, she was Artist in Residence at the University of Virginia, and she has recently been nominated for the Jamil Prize.
So I have, this is probably going to be quite brief, but I have 11 images to show you. The first of which is actually on the cover of this Quarters magazine. I'm going to be showing you a combination of paintings and drawings, and hopefully, you know, informing you about how they've come about, and you know, generally about my background and so on. So this is called compulsive navigation disorder. And it's a title that's almost bigger than the painting. And for me, this is a large painting. It measures about 5 foot high. It's oil on gesso panel. And it came about, first of all, the drawing is what came first. And I don't always make drawings preceding the paintings, but in this case, it might have been a year between the two. And they're borrowing from each other, although it's a whole different approach, because in the drawing, there is no background per se. There is a blank space. And in the painting, I kind of had to fill in a certain amount of context. The blue, squarely pattern, that is a cloud formation from Chinese painting. And I've been looking at pre-Renaissance painting for a very long time, and anything that is outside of the Western canon. And I was interested in Persian painting and Indian painting, and in Persian painting there's a huge influence from Chinese painting, because once upon a time the direction of influence was from China via the Silk Road. And so this has been a sort of an excavation of art history through pre-classical times. There's also there's a lot of contemporary ideas here too. I mean, the aeroplane that's flying out of the skirt and above the many heads is a reminder of the fact that we're in the 21st century. The many heads, which I've been asked about so many times, I look at iconography from Hindu iconography, where the many-headed aspect is all over the place, and it's a sense of the ancestors and also the many voices within your head, the many aspects of self. And at the heart chakra, there is a pendant. And the pendant is a view into the heart itself. Compulsive navigation disorder and the sense of the dizzying present that we all inhabit. We belong everywhere, yet nowhere. And the heart is the only eternal present and place. This is called nostalgic paralysis. And again, there is a drawing and a painting. And these figures contain, all of the information is contained almost within the figure. All the clues as to the biography or the mythology are here. And in this case, this is a figure half taken from Dante's Inferno. Dante's Inferno shows us souls that are contorted according to their sin. So nostalgic paralysis means that she is not able to be in the present. She's facing the wrong way. She's living in the past, nostalgia, walking straight into the jaws of hell with her sleeve alight. And the many feet are the hurry that we are to go towards that direction. And then maybe you can't see it, but down the back of her spine, there is the inscription of, on her back is written the fate that others can see but she cannot, with an idea taken from The Wasteland, T.S. Eliot. And he probably got it from Dante. I mean, eventually everything comes down to Dante. The braids, which are all over my work, they are umbilical. They represent time itself. How long does it take you to grow your hair? Yet, in this, that you are tripped up by your hair, we are caught up in our own. We trip ourselves up. And that's why you see the braid wound around her foot like that. Here's the painting. And the skirt contains the night sky. The idea of something, oh, hello. Hi. The skirt that contains the night sky, the idea of a definite object, yet that it's spatial. It's a spatial, solid object. And it also, the Virgin Mary in depictions of early Christian iconography, her color was the night sky blue, which was the lapis lazuli, and in itself is a spatial color, but at the time was used because it was more expensive and rarer than gold. And I'm also quoting Van Gogh's Night Sky. This one is actually not in the magazine, but I thought I'd put it in because it goes along with some of the ideas that come later, which is about self-defense and the idea of maybe the gun, nuclear disarmament, and so on. And this is called No, I Don't Have a Gun. And it's a line taken from a Nirvana song. Can't remember which Nirvana song, but that's not the title of the song. And it's also quoting a drawing by Clemente where he is pulling a line from his mouth with the teeth on it, as though it's flossing. But there's a sense of this dreamlike quality where the losing of your teeth, maybe we haven't all had those dreams, but I certainly have, the loss of the loss of teeth, which can be seen as, a loss of potency, and then there's an overall sense of the camouflage, the use of the butterfly wing. So there's nature versus the machine as well. This is instruments of the state, again along the lines of the gun idea and the idea of the tool belt. I was actually doing jury duty a couple of months before doing this piece, and on jury duty you spend a lot of time sitting down, so I was sitting down, doodling in my notebook, and there'd be policemen coming past with these incredible tool belts, gun belts that contained everything, like flashlight, gun, handcuffs, radio, notebook, flask. So it suddenly struck me at that level of sitting there with these hip belts going past me that I needed to do something about this, and so this and a few other pieces are called instruments of the state. And there's also a sort of self-destructive aspect in that, being an Iranian, an Arab, and a Muslim in this society, although I'm an American citizen finally, that the instruments of the state could be held against me at any point, and against all of us. And so this is the subject of the piece. And then I moved on, again the tool belt, the many guns and so on, but at this time there was something else going on, which is the swallowing of one's own umbilical cord, or swallowing of the unswallowable. When you say to somebody, oh, I just can't swallow that, I just can't take that, I was confronted with that kind of situation in my life. So this work is autobiographical, and I have to find ways of describing these events in very coded forms, and this was one way of doing that. This is called Swallowing Their Fate. And again, it's the swallowing of the impossible. And, by swallowing something, you're digesting it, you're coming up with ways of dealing with it. Our digestion is a way of swallowing something and it comes out as something else that is assimilated. So it's about assimilating the very difficult. This is Inspiraled or Entanglement, I can't remember the title, but again, the hair and ways in which we tie ourselves in knots. So it's a continuation of the theme from an earlier piece. And it's also a hint at how one figure can contain many selves, many situations. This is Annunciation. This is actually earlier than a lot of the things before. And this was when I started to realize that the figure could contain all of the events of its life by looking at things like sonograms from the time when I was pregnant, and I would have sonograms. So they were looking straight into the body. And if you look at medieval paintings of the Virgin Mary and when she contained Christ, there was a sense that, the image of that womb was such public property. This is the last one. This is a triptych of images of the Virgin Mary, and again, looking straight through the skirt into the womb, as though a sonogram. But there's something about pre-Renaissance medieval paintings that I also wanted to call on, in that everything is visible at the same time. The inside, the outside, the heart. I mean, these days we can, translate it into medical image making, the way that they can see into the body to make everything visible. But in religious iconography, all of those realities were on the surface as well. And it's also about the heart, the womb, the pomegranate, the way that our organs have a sort of a vegetal representation that's possible, which comes up in Muslim iconography. Okay, that's it. Thank you.